Hello everyone, welcome back. The Disney Price here. I hope you're all having a good and safe day. I've decided to do a video about Orlando International Airport and Orlando Sanford Airport. They are two airports near or in the Orlando area. Both of them have many passengers throughout the whole year flying in to go to Disney World or any other place in Central Florida. So today I'm going to be going through which airport you should fly to when you're going to Orlando. So how I'm going to do today's video is I'm going to start with one of the airports. I'm going to start with Orlando International Airport, and I'm going to give you the advantages and the disadvantages of Orlando International Airport, and then I'll move on to Orlando Sanford, and then at the end I'll give you my sort of overall opinion. So starting with Orlando International Airport. Orlando International Airport is the main airport of Orlando. That might make you straight away go, oh right, I'm going to fly there. You sort of need to look at the advantages and the disadvantages. That's what I'm going to try and explain today. But Orlando International Airport is a 27-minute drive to the Grand Floridian. I've just decided to use the Grand Floridian as sort of an example of driving distance and time for this video. So it's a 27-minute drive, but remember, if you're staying at a Disney resort, you can catch the Disney's Magical Express. Although that is ending this year, Mears, which is the bus company that runs the service, is still going to be operating the bus service even into 2022 and beyond. But we don't know quite the details of if it's going to cost extra or not, or if Disney's going to cover it. We don't know. But also, driving time might be important to those who are catching taxis or Ubers to Disney World. It's a lot less time travelling, so the overall cost of the Uber is going to be cheaper, or the taxi is going to be cheaper. If you're catching an Uber, I would recommend flying into Orlando International Airport, because it might turn out to be cheaper to catch an Uber or something like that, or if you're going to catch the Disney's Magical Express, because the Disney's Magical Express isn't available from Orlando Sanford. And I'll explain that more when we get to the Sanford Airport. And then another advantage of Orlando International Airport, or MCO as it's abbreviated, is that there are many good shops in Orlando International. So you have the Disney Airport that sells actual Disney World merchandise, not just Disney merchandise, but actual Disney World merchandise. There's the Kennedy Space Center shop, so that sells all space food, Kennedy Space Center merchandise, and also the Universal shop. So I know that it sells Harry Potter merchandise. It says Harry Potter wands and Universal Park merchandise too. And also for those that are having a car, hiring a car at their time in Orlando, there are a wide range of hire car companies. So the major ones, Hertz, Alamo, Budget, Enterprise, and many more. There's the smaller sort of companies. So if you're looking to hire a car, you'll get the best options at Orlando International Airport, and possibly the cheaper options at Orlando International Airport. Also, the airport itself is closer to Orlando. So if you're looking to not go to Disney World, but to go to Orlando itself, the airport, MCO Airport, is on the outskirts of the actual city of Orlando. So it's a very close drive to get to the middle of Orlando if that's where you're heading to. Now let's move on to the disadvantages of travelling to Orlando International Airport, and there are a few. Orlando International is a very difficult airport to deal with. It's good because of all the advantages I've just said. It's close, and it's overall, I know the airport because we have flown there so many times. I know it like the back of my hand. I know where stuff is. I know what to expect. But the disadvantages you need to get used to, and I think it will take you a few trips to get used to the disadvantages. And the biggest one, travelling in and out of MCO, is baggage. And I'm sure if you ask anyone for disadvantages of MCO Airport, the first thing they'll say is baggage. They really need to get a hold on how they do their baggage system, because when you land, you have to go from one terminal to another, and they say, oh yeah, we'll take the bags from you, and they put it in their own little system that gets it to the final destination. But they admit this, and it takes hours, and I'm not exaggerating. It will take hours for your bag to arrive. We've done it before, where we thought, oh yeah, that's a really good idea, we'll put it through the system, and it did take hours, and we were waiting for hours. Now we don't bother with putting it through their system when we arrive in Orlando. So we are carrying our big suitcases that go in the hold on the plane, and it is a struggle, especially with a family of 6. Sometimes we might take a few other family members, so with at least 6 people traveling with us, 6 massive suitcases at least, it is not a nice experience to go through. I think Orlando International need to improve their baggage system, otherwise they're going to lose travellers, because people aren't going to want to deal with the stress of baggage at Orlando International Airport. Another disadvantage of Orlando International Airport is that it is a big airport. It is huge. Be prepared to walk loads. There aren't that many sort of moving walkways or moving sidewalks, as they call them in America. There aren't that many of them in Orlando, if there are any at all. So there is going to be a lot of walking. So if you have time, take some breaks, sit down somewhere. There are quite a few places to sit down in Orlando. It's quite a modern airport, but technology of sort of moving sidewalks sort of lacks. And another huge issue that Orlando International need to sort out is their long queues. They are sometimes hours long. Car hire is one of the worst queues in the airport. You need to find somewhere to sit, send one person from your party to go and collect the car, because you will be stood in the queue for hours, some 2 or 3 hours sometimes. We are waiting in the airport. We're jet lagged because we've just been on a flight all day. We've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning and it's now midnight in Orlando, so it's horrible going through Orlando International, but it's the only option that we feel like we've got. We don't really want to go to Sanford because then it's an even longer journey. We can't be assured that the wait times will be shorter. And the next disadvantage to Orlando International is because it's the main airport of Central Florida, you're going to have everyone coming in during Christmas time, during the peak times at Disney World. So the airport can get very, very busy, and that means the queues will get longer. So now let's have a look at the advantages of Orlando Sanford Airport. The airport itself is much, much smaller than Orlando International, which in a way might be a good thing because the airport itself will be smaller, so there's sort of less distance to walk. There's not really a need for moving walkways. We have actually flown to Orlando Sanford. It was quite a few years ago. The queues are obviously much smaller because there are less airlines flying in. There are a reasonable amount of car hire options. Sort of all the major companies are at Sanford. However, getting from Orlando Sanford down to the Grand Floridian, which is our example, is much longer. It's a 49-minute drive, and it's much further away than Orlando and Disney World itself. But also, the disadvantage to less airlines flying, it does mean that there are less passengers, but it also means there are less options for you getting into Sanford. So for us, I live in the UK, and I think there's only 1, maybe 2 at a push airlines that fly to Orlando Sanford direct. So ticket prices may be expensive to fly to Sanford. So ticket prices flying to Sanford may be a bit more expensive because airlines know it's just them, so they can charge whatever they want because people want to get to Sanford. And also it gives you less options. If you prefer an airline that doesn't fly to Sanford, you've got a disadvantage there. So in conclusion, I believe that we will always fly to Orlando International MCO. This is because it's much closer to Disney World. I believe that Orlando can fix the issues that they've got with the wait times and the way they run the airport. I think that is something they could fix as technology advances. They'll find ways where certain places don't need queues at car hires and stuff like that. So I think it is something that's a work in progress, and I look forward to our next trip to Orlando, and I think we will be going to Orlando International. I think for Orlando Sanford to sort of stay at the sort of airport it needs to expand, it needs to have longer runways, but I think Orlando Sanford is not going to be an airport in a few years' time. Personally, I think it's because Orlando International has taken away all their business. The airport is just, actually, probably half an hour away from each other. So there really is no difference in the airports themselves. They are barely any distance apart from each other. And I'll always love going to Orlando International Airport because of all the shops there, all the Disney Airport, and the Kennedy Space Center shop and the Universal shop, so I'd always love going there for that. Thank you all for watching. I hope this helped with your choice of where you should travel on your next Disney trip. I'll be doing sort of similar videos like this. I'm planning to do a what airline should you fly with sort of video. So look out for that. It'll be up in a few days, hopefully. Maybe that might be my next one, maybe not. I've got a few ideas for videos, so I'm slowly working my way through the list. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you later. Goodbye.